Richard Norrell is the Senior Systems Engineer at the Washington State Department of Transportation, and he has been responsible for the selection and maintenance and rollout of the DOT's document management technologies for over a decade.
As a lead engineer, I have a vested interest in making sure that the solution we have can be used as we need it to. We've built a lot of things in the Oracle 10G stack, and we needed a platform that we could replace them in with at least the capabilities of Oracle 10G, and if possible, architected in a manner that would allow us to both support it and roll it out like we were used to. So with that, I'd like to say welcome to everybody. I'm really excited to be sharing this. It's a really a great time for me to be in the position that I am as an engineer building. Hopefully some of the information that we give will help you in your process of evaluating replacements for your 10G platform, or just implementations of an ECM in general if you don't have 10G. So as this slide shows, we have a brief history at WSDOT. We started back in, I'm sorry, I was on the previous slide. We've been building since 2001 when the platform was named Optica Acorde. For those of you who've been around, Optica was purchased by Stellent, and then Stellent was purchased by Oracle. And the original document management and workflow products were rebranded as Oracle IPM 10G in 2008. It should be noted that with very few exceptions and some minor fixes and enhancements, the product stack has really remained static in terms of architecture and functionality. So what they purchased back in 2008 and rebranded is pretty much the product that we have today. You'll see in the next couple of slides our use of this platform is extensive and is used across the entire agencies, not just one or two departments. Chances are that if you are working on a project in the ECM technology, we probably have something implemented at WSDOT similar. So in the imaging area, we have built nearly 75 applications ranging across all the disciplines of our agency, everything from engineering drawings to HR and payroll-related documents, as well as many others. If there's a particular discipline that you're interested in, please contact Kim at ImageSource, and they'll get you the information on the taxonomy that we've employed and any special considerations for those disciplines. WSDOT employs over 6,000 people, with roughly 4,000 of them using one aspect of the ECM application or another. Currently content is well over 7 million documents and growing every day as we continue to take advantage of the technologies to reduce cost of storage, to increase the findability, and to increase access to the documents. On the workflow side, workflow is really the horsepower that we're harnessing at WSDOT in order to get an ROI from our platform. There are more than 19 workflows with 325 plus human queues. Each of these workflows represents either a portion of, or in some cases, an entire line of business application. Here are some of the workflows in the areas that we've built. I wanted to give a couple notes on some of these because they're significant and you might find the same kind of business cases in your area. The first one is real estate management. The special feature of this workflow is its ability to do parallel processing, where we have an unlimited number of users who review real estate transactions all at the same time. The HR and the accounting, the focus on this was actually driven by an audit and was for the consolidation and centralization of services across the WSDOT regions back to the headquarters, allowing a reduction of force of about 7 FTEs for the agency. The next group of them, the purchase card management, travel management, and our Office of Women and Minority Business Enterprise workflows. The reason I wanted to highlight these is if you get a chance to look at the details of them, they are an example of high levels of integration with an existing line of business system. And if you come to the webinar that or the meeting that they're looking at doing in March, you might get a chance of seeing some of those, or at least talk about them. Keep in mind, for us at WSDOT, workflow is not only the workflow map, but it's also the windows and the web forms as well as custom action modules that provide the integration between our workflow and our associated line of business systems. It is the implementation or the re-implementation of these workflows, and let me restate that so I can reemphasize it. The implementation or re-implementation of these workflows is what really drove WSDOT's decision to go look for a replacement solution. So the future of Oracle 10G and Oracle 11G. So this brings us to the point where we want to talk about what happened. Why did we go out to RFP in the first place? Because we owned Oracle 10G and we also owned Oracle 11G. So once Oracle announced that the 10G IPM product would be end of life, WSDOT needed to consider, or at least look at considering, replacing our Oracle stack. The IT group, after early meetings with Oracle Professional Services, intended to upgrade to Oracle 10G, or excuse me, Oracle 11G Web Center content. To this end, we converted several of our licenses for 10G to 11G Web Center content, and we stood up the new platform. It quickly became apparent to us that there were several factors that needed to be considered before fully committing to this path. The reality of replacing an Oracle 10G platform was not an upgrade, but rather a re-implementation. So the slide here says the realities of an Oracle upgrade. Well, the reality is it's not an upgrade, but rather a re-implementation. There is no clear upgrade path available from Oracle 10G to Oracle 11G. Replacing Oracle 10G with Oracle 11G would require a complete migration of all of our content, a rebuild of all of our workflows and all of the associated components. Remember, I talked earlier about the forms and the custom modules and our custom integrations. Because of the architecture that Oracle chose for the 11G Web Center platform, a large retraining effort would be needed for our developers, our DBAs, and our server staff. Our enterprise service options would be very, very difficult to achieve in the Oracle 11G architecture. And there was no dependable solution provided for records retention. WSDOT had actually implemented, I don't know whether anyone out there has other than us, the Oracle Universal Records Management, but it required additional customizations and workflows to meet even the simple use cases that we had. And it required an entirely separate group to manage and implement the system. In addition to this, there were several key functionality abilities in the Oracle 10G platform that were not available in Oracle 11G. The cold product, used primarily for processing text output from legacy systems, was simply dropped with no replacement offered. The Save Search capabilities in Oracle 11G, if you're familiar with them, they allowed for searches to be built using imaging applications as well as data from external sources. Sometimes we call this external search. Oracle 11G does not offer this ability. These items alone could be overcome, but when there was nothing done to assist with the transition of the 10G workflows to the new 11G product, the effort of moving to 11G became such that options had to be explored. WSDOT actually had a decent working relationship. This is talking about our relationship with Oracle. We actually had a good working relationship with Oracle technical resources. And they were willing to and did meet with WSDOT to help us do a roadmap analysis. However, it was apparent that our staff would need to be augmented with Oracle Professional Services to accomplish this. We simply did not have the staff with the experience in the type of solution that Oracle 11G was presenting to us. As the roadmap for the 11G platform continued to develop, it was pretty clear that the direction of the product was drifting further and further from the core capabilities that WSDOT relies upon today. It also became clear that despite the outcry from WSDOT and other businesses using the 10G platform, little change in direction was being considered to help with the task of moving to the 11G products. They were really focused on new implementations and weren't didn't seem to be too concerned about helping their existing customer base move between the platforms. So, with the agencies mounting concerns about the complexity of re-implementation using 11G, WSDOT made the decision to see if we could find other options that were feasible for us to use. WSDOT conducted an internal study to determine the requirements that would be needed for replacement technology, and we looked at options of using the other products that we already have within the agency. A lot of us have other products that could meet pieces of the ECM puzzle, SharePoint. We actually own OpenText, another product called ProjectWise, and several others. In addition to our internal study, WSDOT hired an independent consultant to execute a requirement study and provide a recommendation for possibly replacing the Oracle 10G installation. After conducting a thorough analysis, the consultant compiled a complete list of functions used by WSDOT across all of our document management systems, including Oracle 10G, SharePoint, ProjectWise, Contract Manager, our OpenText installation, and more. So after reviewing the internal and the external studies, the decision was made to issue an RFP to solicit possible solutions. Our RFP included the 265 technical requirements from both our internal and our external audits for imaging, document management, workflow, retention management, and cold processing functionality. Beyond the technical product capabilities, there were scored requirements on installation and architecture, as well as the vendor's ability to provide required training, support, and migration strategies. We were really looking for more than just the technical requirements. We wanted to make sure that we would be able to install, implement, and support the platform internally. We wanted to make sure that it was architected in a manner that would allow internal and locally available resources to use our existing knowledge to build the system out. And we wanted to make sure that it was managed by a company willing to partner with WSDOT on future product capabilities. I'll digress from my slides here just a little bit because this is the crux of what we were looking for. Like I said, we've built a lot of stuff in the Oracle 10G platform. And, I, as a senior architect here, want to make sure that we have a platform that we can continue to do that with. And we think we found one. So the response to our RFP, when it came back, we had 14 vendor submittals featuring 9 product combinations. The products that were represented by the vendors are shown here on the slide. You can see that we had pretty much all of the major ECM platforms, as well as some open source platforms, and some that are not as well known as the others. So you can see there. We took the top 3 scoring solutions, and they were selected for further consideration. Each of the 3 finalists was given the opportunity to provide a 3-hour live demonstration of their proposed solution in a very, very tightly scripted environment. The script included all facets of the ECM product, from administration to the end-user experience, as well as customization abilities, reporting, auditing, and troubleshooting. And needless to say, in that type of environment, some of the vendors did really, really well, and some of them did not do so well. After evaluating each of the presentations, the committee selected Ilinks software presented by ImageSource as the best proposed solution. Here are some of the reasons and the benefits that we looked at that made this selection the most appealing for us. Ilinks was the only solution that offered all of the different offerings from the same vendor, meaning there would not be additional products needed to be purchased. It was architected using .NET and Microsoft technologies, and we'll expound upon that a little bit more in another slide, because it's a very important facet of why it was selected. It was obvious that the existing internal resources would be able to install and implement with little to no external resources needed. The user interface was simple and direct for both the end users and the administrators. It was pretty obvious that the Ilinks product and management staff of the product were willing to work together with WSDOT to ensure that all of our requirements would be met. A little bit of history about ImageSource and WSDOT. WSDOT has worked with ImageSource on several occasions over the last 15 years, including, WSDOT and several other agencies have worked with ImageSource, including the Washington State Patrol, Department of Licensing, Office of Financial Management, and Traffic Safety Commission. They have designed, implemented, and supported document management solutions involving all of those agencies. Our collision location and analysis system here at WSDOT is one such implementation of particular interest because it included Kofax Capture, Oracle 10G workflow, and Oracle 10G document management to process our collision records. It also included integration with the agency's collision data mart. It's also a note because it is an interagency effort between WSDOT, WSP, as well as providing feeds to other departments such as the Department of Licensing, the DSHS, County Road Administration Board, as well as both the Washington State and the National Transportation Safety Boards. So here's a picture, an overview of the Ilinks suite. So as you can see by the colors and the tiers, the Ilinks suite is built of several different core products, the largest of which is the Ilinks Capture and the Ilinks Content Store shown here in the slide. The other modules, such as the format converter, release, and email import, all function in concert with these products to provide a complete set of applications specifically built to work together. Like I was saying before, all of the products coming from one vendor, all built to work in concert with each other. An additional benefit is many of these products, such as import and export, work in conjunction with other ECM platforms, such as SharePoint, FileNet, different file shares, databases, and others. WSDOT will be using all of these products except for the Ilinks eForms and the Ilinks Integrate. We will be looking at both of those products in the near future to see whether it makes business sense for us to use those products as well. Okay. So we're going to cover a couple of these products and how WSDOT is going to be using them in the next couple of slides. So here's Ilinks Capture and Ilinks Advanced Capture. We're going to be using Ilinks Capture's capability to replace our Kofax system for ingesting scanned and electronic content. One note on that is, as you can see on the slide, that there is no page count with the Ilinks Capture product. And we'll be using Ilinks Advanced Capture for conducting OMR extraction, as well as some of the other more advanced capture functionality that's not currently in the Ilinks Capture stack. The Ilinks Capture product is also our workflow engine, and we'll be using that to replace more than 20 current workflows as well as building new workflows. It's also of note that we will be building all of these workflows internally using WSDOT resources. A couple of the key areas of the product, as I mentioned before, custom forms and action modules are really key to WSDOT, and with the Ilinks platform and the developers that are building that or have built that, we will be able to use our existing web forms and some of our existing Windows forms, as well as the code that we've already written in our custom action modules for Oracle 10G. All of that code will be able to be reused in the Ilinks Capture workflow. We looked at all of the other solutions and presented that question to each one of the other vendors, and none of the other ones offered that capability. So on to our migration strategy and the tools that we'll be using for that. Ilinks Export and Import will be used to perform the guts of the actual migration of content from Oracle 10G to Ilinks. Ilinks Export provides the ability to conduct a variety of 10G exports, including all document types and the associated annotations. Come back to that annotations when you get a chance, because there are not very many products that can actually export the 10G annotations and then turn around and import them. The ability to create and schedule export jobs that work on a defined group of documents is key to us being able to manage our migration process. Because of the way these products work, it will be possible for WSDOT to scale both the export and the import operations and have multiple applications migrating at the same time. The installation and administration of these products is very, very simple and straightforward. Just an interesting side note, I actually did some content migration this weekend and some tuning on the export and the import combination. Some very simple tweaks to the configuration of them allowed me to increase the performance by about 400%, and we got 130 gigabytes of documents exported over this weekend. All really possible because the applications are just easy, straightforward, and what you expect from that type of a product. So even though the process of moving our content should be shortened by the performance of these tools, we still have a lot of user groups to work with and a lot of workflows to re-implement. So because of the time that it will take us to actually do the migration, we needed an overarching strategy to deal with it. So we had to facilitate a period of time when a user's documents were being moved between the old and the new platforms. For this purpose, a portal will be used that presents a federated search across both Oracle 10G and Ilinks. The programming interfaces provided by the Ilinks system really made this approach fairly easy and straightforward to implement. With the portal in place, WSDOT will be able to migrate each application as each business unit is ready to do so and not have to deal with implementing them all at the same time. Another major consideration for us is records retention. WSDOT's records retention requirements are driven by RCWs and really, at the root, are really quite simple. Includes documents need to be tracked based on the metadata values such as discipline and document type. A system needs to be in place to enforce document disposition changes when specified values are detected in the documents. The change of a document disposition needs to be tracked, and certain disposition changes need to be reviewed and approved. And then the ability to put a legal hold or freeze on the document needs to be available to specified personnel. Really, that's it. That's all the retention policies require us to have in place. As opposed to most other retention management systems, Ilinks is fairly simple and straightforward for implementing retention management. The same administrators that are implementing our imaging applications will also set up jobs to adjust, track, and implement disposition and retention of documents. It can be configured to delete files and leave their index values if you wish. It can be configured to delete files and their index values, or it can be configured to replace files with a placeholder, like a certificate of destruction or some other placeholder document to let somebody know that the document that they are looking for has been deleted. Whatever your requirements are for a specific document, it can be implemented to do that. So we'll be implementing it using Ilinks Export and Ilinks Content Store, where we'll simply set up a series of export jobs to implement each one of our retention policies. It really is a very simple solution, but yet it has a lot of flexibility and is very powerful. So hopefully we'll get an opportunity to demo that to you once we get everything set up and running. So on to our next topic, which is cold and report processing. This is a fairly important capability to WSDOT, and as I said before, it's one that was dropped from the Oracle 10G stack. We pushed Oracle for a strategy for cold, and their response was that a third-party product would need to be obtained, of course at our cost. For those familiar with the Oracle 10G cold product, it was interesting to see the responses from the majority of the vendors. it didn't really seem like they understood or had much knowledge of the cold processing as I'm familiar with it from the exposure I have in the 10G product. Most vendors either skipped the requirements altogether or attempted to gloss over them with very little detail. The Ilinks ARM, or Advanced Report Manager, is the Ilinks presentation, or the Ilinks solution for cold processing. It's a very full and robust solution for reading incoming reports, extracting data based on your specified rules, and outputting documents in the desired format. It has a lot more capabilities than the 10G cold platform did, as Julie will attest to when she gives you a demonstration in a little bit. Okay. So I said we would come back to our .NET framework slide earlier, or on that mentioned earlier. So in a summary, I would like to kind of hit a couple of key points. The first is the architecture of the product suite. WSDOT is a Microsoft shop, and it only makes sense being located where we are that we would be. And the Ilinks platform is built on Microsoft technology. The back-end databases are easily implemented in SQL Server. The core components are implemented using .NET and WCF services hosted in IIS. The clients are all built with .NET. All the features of the application are also exposed for integration purposes via WCF services. And finally, the authentication and the security are implemented using Active Directory federated services. While some of these terms may not be familiar to all of you, what it means to WSDOT is that there was no training necessary to install and implement the product stack. Our developers and our server support group and database administrators are all in agreement with the way that the product is architected. The implementation of this product stack falls perfectly in line with the direction that WSDOT wants to take our roadmap. I've even had developers who kind of shied away from the document management stack in the past, coming over and telling me they really wish that they could join their team now because of the type of stuff that we're going to be able to do with this platform. Of particular interest for us when we stood this up was the extreme load balancing capabilities of Ilinks. It quickly became apparent to our team solution is one of the most configurable products that we own and makes full use of the various options for load balancing, not simply round robin or session based, but rather each call to the services is fully balanced. If you want more details on that or explanation of what that does for us, we can talk about that in the future. So the final consideration for WSDOT to invest long-term in the Ilinks technology was a factor that was really hard to quantify, but one that was of overriding importance to us, and that was ImageSource's willingness to be responsive to our needs now and moving forward. ImageSource has a long and excellent history working with WSDOT, and the Ilinks engagement has been no different for us. Their product team continues to work on enhancements to a couple of the requirements that the product did not fully satisfy. Their support team has been completely responsive to our support needs as we have installed and implemented the stack. They've provided us training, they've provided the necessary training for our staff that addressed not only the aspects of the product that we needed, but at the level that we could best use it. This wasn't canned training that was just thrown out there to a general public, but they took in consideration the level of our staff and the ways that we were using the product and brought that training to our level. And finally, their management has been dedicated to ensuring that the selection of Ilinks was not only a win for ImageSource, but a win for WSDOT as well.